Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Friends, we have a question from Mr. Mohan Kagni, who lives in Canada. Let's first listen to his question and then we come back.
Good morning, Basit sir, and good evening to you in Pakistan. My name is Mohan Kagini, and I live and work in Toronto, Canada. I watch your YouTube videos, and I really admire for your unbiased and rational analysis on international affairs, especially relating to Indian subcontinent. My question to you is: nowadays, there's a lot of media coverage here in West about the cultural genocide of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang, China. But surprisingly, I don't see Prime Minister Imran Khan or Pakistani Foreign Office commenting on these Uyghur Muslims in China. So I find it hypocritical in with regards to Pakistan's stand, because it expects other countries to raise voice on Kashmiri Muslims, which is understandable. But at the same time, Prime Minister Imran Khan and Pakistani government doesn't raise the issues of Uyghur Muslims in China, the cultural genocide which is happening. Like more than 1 million Uyghur Muslims are in intermittent camps in Xinjiang, China. So, don't you think is it hypocritical for Pakistan not to talk about the Uyghur Muslims in China, but at the same time expect other countries to stand with it on Kashmir? Thank you.
Thank you, Mohan, for your very pertinent question. And it's a question which also agitates many in Pakistan as to why the government of Pakistan is not vocal about it. Why doesn't it make a public statement on this issue? But before I give my comments on that, let me very humbly submit to you that you are, by juxtaposing Kashmir with Uyghur Muslims, you are kind of mixing apples and oranges. Kashmir is not an internal issue of India. It's an international issue. There are UN resolutions on this dispute, and both Pakistan and India are committed to resolving it by holding a plebiscite or a referendum in Jammu and Kashmir to determine as to whether people of Jammu and Kashmir they want to join India or join Pakistan. Whereas, the issue of Uyghur Muslims, Chinese, that is an internal issue of China. Like you have many internal issues in many states. So I will not talk about them because those are your internal issues. Similarly, Uyghur Muslims, if they are being, as according to you, cultural genocide is taking place, uh, that should be a matter of concern for all of us. I totally agree with you. But why don't we publicly express our concerns or criticize China for that? It is very simple because China is our strategic partner, our friend. And with friends, when you are in interstate relations, you do not publicly embarrass your friends. But as Muslims, but not even as Muslims, Pakistan has always been, pursuing principled position on all issues. It doesn't mean that being a Muslim country, we only pursue Muslim causes. From South Africa to Rhodesia, Namibia, we have, pursued all these cases with same vigor and with same sincerity of purpose. So, in my view, when it comes to Uyghur Muslims, I can tell you that we do discuss this issue with Chinese in our bilateral discussions because, and China does give way to our views, our viewpoint, And I can tell you that in our bilateral consultations, in our meetings at the highest level, this issue does come up, and we do make our suggestions to China as to how they should be dealing with this matter, because it's not about Muslims only, it's about humanity. But it is China's internal matter, so we have to treat that matter accordingly. Rather than interfering in Chinese internal matters, India would have many domestic issues, Pakistan has many domestic issues, but we cannot allow others to interfere in our internal matters. It is for us to get to grips with those issues and resolve them. But and we do discuss, and it is not hypocritical as you emphasized. My humble suggestion to you would be that please reconsider your question and your thinking on this issue, because otherwise we will all end up interfering in each other's internal matters. Though internationally there are many human rights conventions, covenants, and then there is Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All countries are obliged to adhere to them, abide by them, and it is the responsibility of the international community to ensure that all states do comply with them. But at the end of the day, many countries do violate them. For example, India is not honoring its commitment to hold a plebiscite in Kashmir. This is a lockdown for years now. People are, in jails without any trial. There are close to 1 million Indian security personnel in illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So we need to be, slightly careful. I do appreciate your concerns, but I hope that you will also, as you are concerned about Uyghur Muslims, so I hope that you would also be, also be concerned about Kashmiri Muslims, or Kashmiris for that matter, and then Indian Muslims as well, Dalits as well, what is happening to them in India. From national registration of citizens to Citizenship Amendment Act, everybody is worried in India. So my humble request to you is that we may have our differences, we may have our disputes, but we should have the capacity to transcend our differences in order to look at such issues or human rights issues, I agree with you, more objectively. So I do recognize that there is a problem of Uyghur Muslims, but it would ill behoove Pakistan, which is a friend of China, a strategic partnership, to openly criticize China on that. So rest assured, we have been discussing this issue with China, and there has been some improvement, as we have seen over the last 1 year. And sometimes, what happens is that global politics also affect our worldview. And the Western world, the different, concepts of human rights as well. For some, individual liberty, freedom is very important. For some countries like China, economic liberty and freedom is very important. We can get into a philosophical debate, but at the end of the day, I think we all need to do some introspection, and reflect on our own internal problems and try to fix them. Because we are living in a world which is globalized. but at the same time, all the countries, no country is perfect. We all have our own problems, and we need to fix them as justly as possible. But thank you very much for your question, and I hope that you will continue be staying in touch with us. Thank you.